YouTube, how we doing? PPS back. It is Past the Prop Monday edition. Recap, Monday Night Football bets. You already know. You guys know how Mondays go. Luckily, we're going to be in a pretty damn good mood after this Friday show. Obviously, it was very, very good to us. But joined as always by my guy, Monotone Football. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Like you said, 4-0 show last time between you and me. That's always a good feeling to have around these parts. Got NBA going in full cylinder, NFL. I didn't think I was initially going to find too many spots in this game. I kind of described it as a very disgusting game, but the more you look at it, I think you can find some angles. This might not be the worst game in the world, so plenty of sports to bet on. I'm always happy.
I mean, when's the last time we seen a primetime game with a 40-point total? Jesus, this is weird, dude. I'm not used to fours in front of the number instead of threes with how many Russell Wilson games we had there. And, dude, they almost won, dude. The Denver Broncos almost won without Russ against the I guess, good Jets now. So Ripien almost got that in there at the end. I know everybody was calling for a pass interference on that ending play there with him and Sutton, but they were going back and forth. I don't really think of anything there, but yeah, RIP. Hopefully, Breece Hall's leg gives us better news than what we're expecting.
Yeah.
I know that's really shitty because he's been a bet for the show quite often.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that was an interesting one right there. That was I don't know how to feel about that game necessarily because I don't know. I didn't know how to go into. All I knew is I bet the under in that game. I don't know what it closed at. Earlier in the week, it opened at like 44, and that was with the Russ news. I was like, this has got to be like the worst over. And I don't do totals. You know this. I'm a prop guy. I stay in the prop world. I don't like to leave it, but I don't. It must have closed at like 38 or something like that because there's no way there is going to be any kind of offense, and that's what it's going to be like for both those teams for the rest of the year, right? Jets and Broncos are heavy under teams.
Yeah, how about the other one I wanted to bring up was what about these Atlanta Falcons running things, dude? Like what is going on? You're down 21-0 at the end of the first, and you have more rush attempts than pass attempts by like 14 or 16, something like that. I saw Algier with 16. We saw Huntley with like 10, and Mariota just running all over the place too. Like you put how much money into Pitts in London, and we still don't see anything coming out of it. It's just weird. I don't get it. I don't understand what your game plan can be.
Yeah, no, back-to-back first-round picks on offensive weapons, and you come in and run the ball with these sixth-round running backs, and it's not even something we can bet on. It's like any sport you watch, NFL, NBA, when you have these committees, right, of multiple guys that are all stealing from each other, it makes it so impossible to predict who they're going to use on a day-to-day basis. And it's not even like they're using these guys consistently. Like one week, Algier will be a receiving back. The other week, absolutely no targets. Like it's just. Oh, it's so confusing. Atlanta is an odd team, man. That's a team I do not love to bet on. The only thing is, man, the Bengals crushed them through the air. And like you said, they stayed on the ground. So all that means to me is no Kyle Pitts, no Drake London. I'm sorry. I love the talent. I traded Kyle Pitts off of my fantasy team this week. I brought in Dalton Schultz, reunited with Dak Prescott. So I wish him well, but, I had to get rid of him, man. I don't know what to think. It's not going to be many overs for the rest of the season for me.
Yeah, dude, there's some just weird games. And that's why in the prop community, it makes it a little bit easier because guess what? We had hell of good weeks and there were some weird ass games, right? We look at Buccaneers, we talked the Packers already in our little under before the show here. Just like see pretty big favorites. I'm sure everybody in their survivor pool that had Tampa Bay left threw it on Tampa Bay yesterday. And that was just an ass kicking up and down the field. Dante Foreman and Chuba Hubbard both get you there if you decided to go bold in fantasy this week. I think they both scored 15 plus. So impressive performance. PJ Walker didn't even look that bad either. He was chucking it around. DJ Moore with a pop-off game. Pretty impressive there.
Yeah, man, the Patriots losing sorry, not the Patriots. Tom Brady was on the Patriots. The Bucks losing to the worst team arguably in the NFL, right? What's going on there? The Panthers actively traded away one of their best offensive pieces. They're actively shipping the rest of their team away. And what do? They come out and beat Tom Brady. So, man, this NFC, we were talking about this a little before the show. A lot of these giants, the Rodgers, Drew Brees is gone now, but the Saints are going down. The Brady's, these guys they're not the same teams we remember. On paper, we're still so scared of these teams, right? When you look at the Saints, the Packers, the Bucks, you're like, no way, these are these spreads. But then these aren't the same teams we remember. And I guess it's a wake-up call. How many weeks in a row have we heard bounce back game? Rodgers was supposed to bounce back in London. Then he was supposed to bounce back against the Jets. Then he was supposed to bounce back against the terrible Washington defense. And what happens? There was no bounce back. So it's time to start kind of taking these opinions that we've been seeing all season. And we got to respect them now. We got to kind of respect what we've seen so far.
Yeah, you got to do it till something gets shown, right? And then, I mean, even Brady yesterday, it's just like Carolina's defense just stifled them, like completely stifled them. And I was not really expecting that. Talking about the Panthers there, how about McCaffrey's first game getting spoiled by Mr. Mahomes, just cooking that top, I think they're top 10 defense now. They're getting blown up in these last couple games, but Mahomes torched them. 400 plus, 3 touchdowns. McCole Hardman decides he's good now. I don't get that. But, dude, Kelsey again, almost 100 yards. MVS, after getting 0, has a 100-yard game. Dude is so bipolar. It's unbelievable. I have no idea what he's doing each week. And then even Juju almost popped for 100 as well. So it's like, we didn't know these weapons were going to be what they were, but Jesus, this team is rolling.
Yeah, let's be fair, though. These weapons, we can thank Patrick Mahomes for that, right? I mean, all the talk, Josh Allen MVP, Josh Allen this, and don't get me wrong, Josh Allen is a fantastic quarterback, but Josh Allen and Mahomes are in a tier of their own right now. And all we've been doing is talking about Josh Allen. Mahomes is making these guys that we definitively know aren't top-tier receivers look great on a weekly basis. I mean, McCole Hardman has one of the least developed route trees in the NFL. The guy doesn't run routes. He just runs. Like, quite literally, he just runs out there. Juju Smith-Schuster can't get separation to save his life, but it doesn't matter when Patrick Mahomes is throwing dimes in there. And then, like you said, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, whose job with your Packers for the last 5 years has been run straight. And I mean, Mahomes is making it work. So we got to give a lot of credit. I know it gets boring to talk about the guys that are really good, but Mahomes is playing on a different level. I mean, trading away their best asset in free agency, obviously got a nice return back. But man, this is crazy. The Bills and the Chiefs are in the tier they're on right now. It's really the 2 best teams, and it's not particularly close in my opinion.
For sure. Now let's get to our quick recap here. We'll show it off here. Nice to obviously see where we're at, and we have the numbers updated as well. Kenneth Walker, he had like 4 rushes over 16 and a half.
We're never going to get these good lines again with Walker. He's going to be like 85 next week, guaranteed. Ugh.
Yeah, it was impressive, and obviously in the same game we had Herbert on that backside. Yeah. That was as sweaty as you're going to probably get. They were down 21 with like 8 minutes left, and I'm like, are they going to keep him? Because Mike Williams just got kicked off the field because he probably broke his freaking ankle, and you still put Herbert out there. I'm like, for fantasy purposes, I was very happy. But the only thing I wasn't happy with is I'm playing Eckler, and I had a 80% chance of winning. He scores that touchdown at the end. That absolutely did not need to happen, and I end up probably going to lose if Falk goes over 6 points. So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was rooting for your bet. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sitting there watching like, why is Herbert still in the game? Like, he got injured in garbage time earlier this year. That's when he, messed up his ribs. And you're doing it again. I mean, if I were the Chargers ownership or higher ups, I'd be in shock watching that game as Herbert goes in that game down like 3 touchdowns, ready to throw more. That was not smart.
Oh, yeah, but we were lucky. Obviously, ended up with like 295 there. Aaron Jones, I think he had like 9 catches. I think he was just everywhere.
Can't run on Washington. I keep saying it. You can't run on Washington, man. That's the one thing we can do. And every week they still try to do it, and we do pretty good. So good luck next week, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that should be an interesting one with how bad Matt Ryan looks there. That he's been terrible. Jimmy G. Cruz, this one I think we almost got at. He had like 190 at half. He was ahead of Mahomes for the first half of the game. I'm like, whoa, this is impressive. And then obviously Mahomes takes over late. But yeah, Jimmy G came in easy, and I think he got benched in the fourth quarter because they were down so much. They ended up bringing in Who was it? Purdy?
Brock Purdy, yeah.
Purdy, Iowa State.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he came in and we still ended up clearing it, which is very happy. I would have been so mad if they pulled him before that in like the third, but he ended up cashing pretty easily there. So a 4-0 day moves our numbers up. This looks a lot better now. Back-to-back sweeps. We ended up getting both of ours on the Chargers game on Monday over there. And then we're coming off of a nice 4-0 sweep. So we're almost to double digit after we were kind of sitting in that 1 to 4 range, going back and forth. Now we're starting to see the numbers start moving up here. So almost 10 units. And we got 2 today. If we get them both, we'll be right on that edge, because I think yours is a half. But I think we'll be right on that edge. Should be getting up to 10 units, which would be fantastic through 7 weeks of the season. But I think we've got everything else out of the way. All of our other stuff is good. I think it's time to start talking some Monday Night Football here. Kind of a good game, I guess. I mean, you got Fields and Jones on there. Who are you leaning if you had to take a side? Obviously, we are prop guys. We are not guys betting on spreads, totals. But if you had to pick a side, obviously we're seeing 8 points laid for the Patriots. That's pretty crazy to me.
I liked it a little bit more at 7. When we were on just 1 touchdown, if they win by 1, you push. But now that we're 8.5, that's when it does get a little bit scarier. It's like, how much do you really want to trust Mac Jones in this situation, to cover? The thing is, the Patriots are going to win, right? Like, I don't really believe in the Bears at all. I mean, I don't agree with the way they're operating their offensive system. When you have a young quarterback, the way you win in the NFL right now, right, is you need a young quarterback that is going to take you somewhere. Most likely it needs to be on their rookie contract, right? They're not letting Justin Fields develop. They're hiding him from the world. If you're going to hide your quarterback from the world, you might as well put in Joe Flacco. You might as well put in, insert 40-year-old veteran quarterback that can go 1 check down at a time. That's not what Justin Fields is. He has such a diverse skill set. We have no clue if it'll work out, but I would be letting him try, right? There's no point in just not letting him try. So I don't like supporting the Bears. You won't ever catch me doing that. I don't like the way they play football. I don't think it's smart. I think it's just ugly. So I mean, Bill Belichick against young quarterbacks. I mean, what a narrative, right? I mean, how can you argue with that? One of the best coaches of all time. He crushes rookies. Justin Fields isn't a rookie anymore, but he also doesn't have a full season of games under his belt yet. So, by games, he's still kind of a rookie. I think he's going to have a real hard time tonight.
I just have no idea what the Bears are going to do. Obviously, for my fantasy team, I hope they go up and down and score some points on these boys. But, geez, dude, it's pretty much like the Patriots were built to beat this team. Like, they completely are built to destroy the Bears, because the Bears just cannot stop the run. And what are you going to do? You're going to see 2 monsters running at you the entire game, right? It's just tough, right? This is why some of these teams in the NFC, when they play the Bears, you just completely just see how they just like, we know you're bad at this. We're going to keep doing this till you stop it. And then they go deep and hit a bomb, right? That's pretty much what's been happening to the Bears this whole season. As a Packers fan, I don't think the season's been going well for us, but it's just, this is just tough to watch Bears games, man, even when they're just on TV because they're close to us. But yeah, it's tough to watch. Obviously, I think the Patriots win. I don't know. 8 seems a little weird to me. It's just that weird middle spot where it's like, dude, can I go for it? But yeah, I think the Patriots take care of this pretty quick. But let's before we get into our picks, let's check out the chat. We'll see who's all in here. We got Jay in here. We got Perfecto Place. Hope all as well as one of my dudes there. We got Turbo in the chat. Jam Rock Kicks. Awesome to see you pop in here for the first time. We appreciate you tuning in to Pass the Prop. And Turbo bringing up Kittle there. Yeah, Kittle had a nice game. Brandon Ayuk, I think him and Ayuk were the 2 big boys there in that one. Debo kind of took a back seat. I think he was like the 4th chair in that offense this past week.
Well, remember what I said last week? Debo takes the biggest hit with Christian McCaffrey. He's not a traditional separation wide receiver. So when he has to become one, it gets a little bit tougher.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs had his week. He went crazy. And Plus Money Bob talking about unders. We'll be talking about them. At least I will be here shortly. But I think it's time. It's time to drop some picks. Again, guys, if you haven't smashed that like button already, smash that like button. We're going to add on to this. Let's get to 33 and 24. It's about that time. I'll kick it to you to kick us off. Stu, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a combo right here. We're going over to DraftKings. Saw plus money Bob in the chat. So I know he's going to like this one. We got Justin Fields, 35 rush yards, Jacoby Myers, 35 receiving yards, plus 110. We're playing that one for half the unit right here. I'll start out with Jacoby Myers because this line, I almost bet it's just 50 as the plain line, but I do like the security of bringing it down just in case it's a little bit more of a blowout situation, right? I mean, obviously we talked about the running the ball. The Bears run defense is not too good, but you got to keep these defenses honest. You have to make sure you're not running against stacked boxes over and over. That means more play action. That means getting your receivers involved. Who's more involved than Jacoby Myers? He's constantly been the wide receiver one in the era of Mac Jones, right? In his first 2 games, he cleared this number easily. He actually cleared his regular prop number easily, and he had 19 targets in those 2 games. Now we've seen him play with Zappy over these last couple of weeks. And guess what? Over their last 2 games with Zappy, they've crushed their opponents. You'd think, okay, they're not throwing that much. They have Ramondre. He still cleared this number very easily in both of the games where they crushed their opponents too. So it's good to see that they don't take their foot off the brakes. They still do throw the ball a little bit when they're ahead. Myers is the clear wide receiver one on this team in terms of air yards, target share, targets per route run, yards per route run. He's crushing everybody. They have a lot of guys. Aguilar's there. Kendrick Bourne is there. Devontae Parker's there. They're all good auxiliary pieces, but Myers truly is the number one wide receiver. To be able to even get 35 rush yards as an alt line receiving yards is obviously something I want to take advantage of right here. That pushes me right into Justin Fields, 35 rushing yards. I think Fields is going to be running for his life, just like I talked about a little bit earlier. We know Belichick is known for crushing these rookie quarterbacks, and this Patriots defense has been legit this season. They're once again a team that likes to blitz a lot more. They like to trust their guys in man coverage, and it's been working very well. When we look at how the Bears have done against the blitz, it's not good, right? This offensive line is notoriously one of the worst in the league, right? Justin Fields has been sacked more than any other quarterback in the league besides, I believe, Carson Wentz. They're tied for first right now at 23 in the same amount of games because Carson Wentz didn't play. Fields hasn't played yet. What does that mean? Fields has a 19.3% scramble rate on the season. He's scrambling on almost 20% of his dropbacks this year. That's insane. That offensive line legitimately cannot protect him to save his life. We saw this with the blitz happy team last week. Washington blitzes at the 7th highest rate in the NFL, and we saw him have 12 rush attempts. Because of that, ended up going over 80 yards in that game. Fields, they just don't have a choice. Their passing attack isn't very good. The Patriots secondary has been good, despite the fact that J.C. Jackson left town. They've still replaced him. They do what the Patriots always do. They get some new guys in like the 4th round, and they turn out to be really good because life's just unfair when you're Bill Belichick. So I absolutely love both these guys. They're my 2 favorite weapons in this game, no doubt about it. To be able to combine them together right here at plus money, I think they both go over.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Belichick sends off J.C. Jackson. Now he sucks and gets benched. Like, it's crazy, dude.
Well, he's probably done for the season now too, right? So he's been playing through injury. So
it's just tough, dude. It's tough to be as good as he is at pretty much everything on the football field there. So plus money Bob did bring up unders, and that is where I will be going here. I'm going to Mac Jones under 28.5 pass attempts here. I know, yes, it sounds low. It is juiced to the over. It's like minus 130 for the over here. They're giving us minus 105. As close as I could get to plus money. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any plus money on this spot. But looking at everything here, we'll just go into some numbers right away. The number one run block advantage for the entire week 7 is going to be this New England Patriots offensive line. 47% run block advantage. The Bears, again, are bottom 3 in every single category against the rush. We have Damian Harris back. We have Mac Jones on I thought was going to be an ankle that needed surgery. I know a lot of people talked that he probably would need it. I know, what's the name for the lady on ESPN who's the doctor? Bell, Stefania Bell, I think it is. She's on like the thing with Field Yates or whatever. She's like, yeah, this should probably require surgery, right? These are literally doctors talking about how Mac Jones is doing this. So why would I, in a game where you're 8-point favorites, why would I want to put Mac Jones throwing the ball more than he really needs to? First 2 years in the league, over 66% completion rate on both years already. So obviously, I don't want to go to the completions because I think it's like 18 and a half, and I could easily see him going 20 for 24 or 22 for 25, something like that, because he's that accurate on these lower routes. And then going into the receivers here for the Patriots, they have an advantage on pretty much every single one of these receivers. Looking in the top 10 ranked guys here, Jacoby Myers is there. We're seeing Devontae Parker there. We're seeing pretty much everybody on this team having an advantage where they're going. Jacoby Myers is right behind Kendrick Bourne in the top 5. Everywhere you look, they're going to have an advantage. And if we're going to have all 3 of these receivers have advantages like this, I think they're always going to be open. I think that it makes us not have to pass as much. I think they're going to be up pretty big in this one. And I also think that both running backs are going to get their share here. I don't really have a lean on which back's going to be the better one here. Damian Harris is still a beast. I know the Stevenson love is going crazy. The Stevenson love is. I hope he does okay today, because that means they're not going to have to pass as much. But we still have to remember Damian Harris was the number 1 back here last year and was fantastic in his chances that he had. I don't think they're going to want to pass that much. I think that this is the game where you know what they're bad at. Let's go right at it. And you have 2 monsters back there running the ball, and you have an offensive line that can just move these dudes at will. Sign me up. I'm on Mac Jones under 28.5 pass attempts.
Yeah, I always get scared to go into these kind of riskier bets right now, but I did think it was interesting that his completions was very low too. Normally when you have a guy that's very accurate, you see the completions a little bit higher. So it kind of shows that the books think, well, maybe he won't be completing as many passes. And obviously he's a pretty efficient guy. So I do think that bodes a little bit well just from what the books are saying, even beyond any of my opinion. And then like kind of was mentioned in the chat, somebody said it. It was Plus Money Bob. Yeah, the Bears offense is not going to get too many plays in. This might be one of the slower games we've seen this season, unless there's some kind of pick 6 or defensive score or bad special teams play that puts somebody on a short field. Did you watch the second half of the Steelers Dolphins last week, specifically this week, the third quarter, right? Where they just went 10 yards, punt, 10 yards, punt. Yeah. That feels like what this game is going to be. And if we're just seeing, Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson grind it out on the ground, then I think that should be a pretty good game script for that.
Yeah, dude, this is just going to be one of those games that's like when you're at a baseball game and it's a pitcher's duel, right? It's like 2 hours, 20 minutes. That could literally be this. Like halftime could be lasting longer than a quarter in this game. Like it could literally be like that, because these games are going to be tough to watch, where they literally just want to run the football. Clock just moving the whole entire time. Yeah, it's going to be another one of these primetime games. Who the hell put the Bears on a Monday night? I did not get it. I do not get it, dude. It's so tough. I don't know what the NFL is doing on some of these games.
You got to highlight this. Plus Money Bob with a banger right here. N'Keal Harry, after being discarded and thrown out by the Patriots, making his debut. Revenge game. I like that. I'm in. Did you see the Thornton guy made his debut last week? Got a touchdown. He's down to like plus 290 for a touchdown. What a sucker bet right there. This is the move right here. I like this. I'll be tailing. Obviously, I'm not putting my mortgage on it. Let's be clear. But I do like that. N'Keal Harry, for all my information, sucks. But he's got to be feeling, angry. Revenge. I like it.
He's not getting that Smythe money, but he's getting a little sprinkle there at the 1,700. Let's go to Pickett. Taylor Fade, last spot of the show here before we get out of here for you guys. Quick show today. A spot we kind of talked about already. I know you're fading him pretty heavily in the Battle of the Bet show that you guys are doing right now. So obviously, hopefully, I'm kind of going to guess that's where we're going to be here.
Yeah, so I'm on NBC's Battle of the Bets. For anyone that doesn't know, that goes live at 4. The guy I'm going against today has something good to say about Stevenson. I don't know if I'm loving all the hype, though. I really don't. I mean, 62.5 rushing yards with Damian Harris back in the lineup is something that's scaring me a lot more than other people. I know when you look at things through a fantasy perspective, through a DFS perspective, you see all the cool things Stevenson does, right? He catches passes. He's so athletic. He has all these traits that we like. This is the NFL, guys. This is Bill Belichick we're talking about. Bill Belichick would put in like James White if he was still around to steal 5 carries from these guys a game. I don't know why we're suddenly thinking that Ramondre Stevenson has earned himself the running back 1 role. He could have, in reality, if life was fair, right? If it was us maybe managing the team, I could say that Stevenson's been the better back. That's not how the NFL works. Rarely does a guy earn something in exactly 1 week right here. So I'm going to be going under. I think this is a balanced rush attack. I think we see Stevenson and Harris very involved. And I'm surprised that Harris's rush yards was like 20 yards under Stevenson to start out, when both of them are kind of going to be very involved this week. So I'm going to be going under on Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, this is tough for me because this like goes again. This is like, I'm like balancing each side because on one side, he's been so good. His line is so much better than this Bears spot. But on the other side, it's literally one of my rules to not bet someone at their highest point. We're betting him at his peak, right?
Yep.
He just popped off twice.
Yep.
Now, like, what is Stevenson usually? Like 45 to 55, right? Because he got a two-headed monster. And it hurts me because I think I'm going to break my rule and I'm going to take the over because I just know how bad this Bears team is. They're just so bad. But I can see both sides. Like, I'm not going to bet this spot because it's literally against my rules to bet at somebody at their peak. We're literally getting the tax on this play already. There's like another 8 yards on this that should not be there because that's what he was like with Harris, right? I mean, even without Harris, I think his line was like 60 something, right? 65. And that's with the guy that's taking all your carries. He's not even playing. And now we're only getting like a 3-yard discount because he is playing. I obviously know it's because of the matchup, and that's really the only reason I'm betting this over. Against anybody else, I don't think I would. But the 8-point favorite kind of scares me, and I just don't know what else this Bears team is going to do against this defense. So I can see both sides. I have absolutely no real-life money on this play. But I can definitely see why you're doing that because it's one of my biggest rules not to do this. But I think it's just because my Packer bias is coming into this a little bit too. So I'm going to take the over very, very, very skeptically. And I'm doing it with like a 10-foot pole because I'm literally breaking it. I'm breaking my biggest rule.
Can I ask you a question real quick on the spot? I'm curious if anyone in the chat has Roquan Smith's line because I'm starting to go into defense a little bit more with these props. Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in the NFL, right? Now he's going to be a 3-down linebacker playing every single snap against a team that's likely going to run a bunch with 2 separate running backs. Does Roquan Smith sound like a name you might be interested betting kind of against this rushing attack that we're expecting?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the only thing is you know how Bill Belichick is on these schemes and stuff. Maybe they try to get to the second layer. But I've watched enough Roquan Smith that this dude is a savage, dude. He's so good. Literally, that's the only name you hear when you're against these huge rushing attacks. Like when the Packers play against them and they just run 2 dudes, right? That's literally what they're doing. They're up in the game and they just keep running. Roquan Smith is always in the middle of everything. He's even pretty good in the pass coverage. I think the tackles is probably a great spot to go, especially in the spot against I'm sure it's going to be pretty high.
Well, 9.5 is not as bad as I thought, I have to say, because I've been betting on my guy Cole Holcomb over in DC, right? He's been at 8.5, 9.5 in back-to-back weeks. So to see Roquan at 9.5, that is tempting. I was kind of expecting maybe a 10.5 or something like that. So I kind of like that. Maybe we'll see that pop up on Twitter sometime today. Who knows?
He's at 9.5 and Eddie Jackson 6.5. There's just going to be so many just opportunities. Like he's going to have so many chances in this game to do this, especially when you really don't have to worry about like deep pass plays, right? They're not really going to have that in their arsenal unless it's like the deep play action that you were talking about where they just run 9 times. But in those 9 runs prior to the big play action play, Roquan's probably in 5 of those because he's that good.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I definitely getting more interested in this one the more I think about it.
All right, guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. We got about 40 of you guys in here. Smash that like button if you haven't already. We appreciate all you guys tuning in for your lunch break, possibly tuning in with us, or just have a headphone in while you're typing some stuff up. We appreciate you, and we'll go through our recap of our plays here, and then get you guys on your way. How do you feel about FGE? I'm going to assume field goals for either side. I hope Nick Folk turns his ankle on his kickoff and doesn't get like really bad injured, but it's like going to be cold out and it just like swells up a little bit. But next week he's fine.
Yeah,
I hope he's fine next week. But I'm playing him in fantasy, so hoping that ankle. Hopefully he has like that Harrison Butker ankle turn on that first kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, with two non-analytically driven head coaches on slow offenses, I think both field goal kickers should check out logically, right? Like when you're talking about neither of these teams are super aggressive on fourth down. We don't expect a high-scoring game, and we don't expect a lot of red zone success. So that does seem like a recipe for good field goals. I just can't get that freaking market right. I had the Broncos kicker yesterday as the last leg of one of my parlays, and he ended up selling that for me. I don't know. I don't enjoy betting on that market, even though it does kind of check out today.
Yeah, there's a lot of primetime games. Like I had McManus last week, and it was good. He just kicked everything. But I'm hoping that this Patriots team doesn't really have any issues with these guys in the red zone. I don't think they really would. They probably can just continue to do the same thing that they're doing the whole time. But yeah, it's going to be low scoring. I'm sure that the field goals are going to be needed. Like last night, the Steelers could have done it, but then obviously Pickett throws that interception there and doesn't let them get the field goals. But I think that both of these coaches are going to be pretty conservative on play calling as well, especially with the Mac injury and Fields just, I don't know, just being like a baby in there or something. I don't know. They're just like not giving him a chance. Like it's weird, really weird. Like I've never seen this. This type of offense. Just weird. All righty. Let's get through our recap here. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in there. We will get to them prior to this, but we're at that 30-minute mark. Let's go through our recap here.
Yep, I'm going Jacoby Myers, 35 receiving yards. Justin Fields, 35 rushing yards, plus 110, playing that for half unit over on DraftKings. And then Taylor fade. I will unfortunately be fading the public for this one, going against the people on Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards.
And I will be on Mac Jones under 28.5 pass attempts, minus 105. And I will be on the over very skeptically on this spot. Will not be betting this, but yeah, dude, I just can't trust the Bears to stop anybody, dude. It's just so hard to watch. So that will be our show for you guys today. I'm going to check in the chat here if there was anything else, but I do not.
I think someone had something on the NBA that Jalen Smith. Yeah, there we go. 6.5 rebounds. Oh, dude, have you seen this game? I don't know if you looked into it. Dude, Joel Embiid is obvious. Yeah, he's a monster. The Pacers don't have anybody over like 6'8". Who is going to stop him? I mean, Jalen Smith might have 4 fouls in the first half trying to defend Joel Embiid. I mean, it's just an absolutely brutal matchup. So I'm staying far away from that. Besides, Joel Embiid, first quarter points, first quarter rebounds. He's going to demolish those dudes in the first quarter and then go sit on the bench and enjoy the rest of his night.
Yeah, dude, it's 12-point spread, and that's an 0-3 Sixers team, and they're still giving them 12 points. Jesus, this is going to be bad. This is going to be absolutely brutal. There's so many other games with good prop numbers, right? You have some pretty high totals. I think there's 3 230-point totals out there, which we usually don't see much anymore. But you have some really, really, really fast places going on today. And Jalen Smith just follows like a madman, dude. Like when he is chalking DFS, you just fade it, bro. That man fouls on every single play. And now Joel Embiid, one of the best dudes at drawing those fouls.
Yeah.
I wish there was an over-under like 20 minutes played. I would probably take the under on minutes played.
Well, it's not even like fair. Like, it's not like I blame him. Smith is a solid player. He's a young guy developing the league, but they don't have a center, right? They're playing like Trent Taylor at the 5, who's like 6'5". So Smith has to take these matchups that in theory he shouldn't be able to match up against. So it's hard for me to believe in Smith. In reality, this is a small number. Like whoever commented originally said, it's a point too low, but it's a point too low because of the blowout and foul trouble. So that's enough to keep me away from it.
Yeah, the weirdest thing is Terry Taylor, the guy you're talking about there. On one site, he's a small forward shooting guard. On the other side, he's a center. Yeah. Bro's 6'5". He's 6'5". How are you putting this man at center? That is just unbelievable. Like, dude, figure it out. Yes, he does have, and it's not like Monotone just said. It's not his fault, dude. This team is just built of just like 6'5" to 6'8", really fast and aggressive players, but they're just not defensively sound. And what would your numbers be here if if they were playing Minnesota for Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns against this team. I bet you they would both score 30. And Gobert would have 20 dunks. That's it.
Yeah, no, definitely assist for whoever the point guard too. Yeah, no, that's kind of brutal. And I see, Jam asked about the first quarter. Yeah, the lines aren't out yet, but as soon as they do come out, Joel Embiid will be one of my number one targets. So hopefully we get those soon. I definitely will tweet them out when I get there.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap it on up. We're at that 35-minute mark. Stu, you got anything for the people before we head out here? Going for what? I think we're at 6 in a row right now.
6 in a row.
Hopefully we're going for 8 in a row here total for us if we can get this.
Yeah, 8 in a row. Feeling pretty good about it, too. If you guys enjoyed Taylor Fade, we obviously get that number from Pikkit. They have bet tracking. They have odds comparison. And you can see who the most popular play of the day is, right? We don't have to wait for some guy that's hired by MGM to tweet out that little thing that I'm always a little bit suspicious of. Like, why are you telling me this? You know what I mean? I like to just be able to see it for myself, see who's on what. Pikkit lets you do all of that stuff. As I was scrolling through, I saw my guy Brian versus the Books. He's been on here before. Saw his little head push up next to the bets. It lets you know who your friends are on, all that stuff. So we're over there on Pikkit. Right after the show, I'm going to post one of my long shot touchdowns over there. So yeah, and it's not N'Keal Harry, although I do like that one. So yeah, if you're not already over on Pikkit, use code PTP. It's a completely free app, and they'll give you between $3 and $100 just for signing up. Beyond that, you get to hang out with us more. Only other thing I already have an NBA play out tonight. I actually have 2 NBA plays on Twitter that I posted at like 1 a.m. last night. And I will be on NBC's Battle of the Bets today at 4 p.m. EST. I've won 2 days in a row. I'm trying to make that 3. I'm taking on all the NBC bigwigs, sending them home one at a time. I'm the champion. I'm going to continue to be the champion. So I have 3 picks there, 2 NBA, 1 NFL. You're going to want to check those out.
Love it, love it, love it. Repping PTP for us. Hopefully we'll be able to keep seeing you win those. Again, if you guys are tuning over on Pikkit, use the promo code PTP right there to get that free money. But yes, I'm very excited, guys. Going for 8 straight winners on the show for your boys. And hopefully we'll be able to do that and talk about it on Wednesday. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. And hopefully this game goes exactly how we're planning. And I think everybody's kind of thinking it will be. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. And we will see you on Wednesday at our 2 o'clock show. Hopefully coming at you guys with that 8 straight winners here. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. And we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.